Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. So first, I will echo. First, thank you, Tony, for having Lisa and I join the webinar today. Always excited to talk to agents about, as Lisa was alluded to, not product, which is one of the things that I really enjoy about being on the advanced markets team, which to Lisa's comment, I'm the director of the team, been here for, been with the company anyway, going on, I want to say 12 years now. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I really enjoy about being in the advanced markets side of the conversation is, to Lisa's comment earlier, we don't really talk product. Yes, absolutely, product will come into the equation and is imperative to the sale. And National Life has the best in class in the majority of these products, including being the #1 IUL carrier in the second quarter, I believe, for 2023 out there. But that aside, what's great about working in the advanced markets is you get to work with small business owners and high net worth individuals. So it's a little bit of a different world and a little bit of a pivot from what you probably are currently doing if you're not in this market. But just be aware that everything that you're currently doing carries over into the advanced sales concepts and into the advanced markets when working with business owners. We just simply position the product a little bit differently. And at the end of the day, what are we really doing? Well, you can see what our mission is on the screen here, right? To enhance NLG's reputation through the creation of profitable sales opportunities and reliable solutions for high net worth and small business owner clients. What does that really mean? In my words, that means we use business dollars to help fund personal benefits for business owners and do so in the most efficient manner possible. Now, I say we because, as you could imagine, at a company like National Life that's been around for 175 years, it's not a one-man or one-woman show by any stretch of the imagination on our advanced markets team. So what you'll see here is actually who we are. So as of today, the end of August, we are a team of 8. We have 3 attorneys, Matt Ryan, who is our AVP on the team, as well as Pam Kathlina and Aning Eads. Now, I say that lovingly that we're a team of 8 as of August 31st, 2023, because on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2nd, not sure what Tuesday is technically, but we will be adding one more attorney to our team. So you will see another little bubble down here until we get the full pictures going of a great new addition, Meg Muldoon, who is going to be the 4th attorney on staff. And between all of the attorneys, just on the attorney side, we'll probably have well upwards of maybe not quite 100 years of experience, but between the overall team, well over a century of experience in the advanced markets. So this is not something that we are, to Lisa's comment earlier, something that's new to us by any stretch of the imagination. This is a dedicated piece of what National Life does. And we feel that in the advanced markets, when you're working with these higher net worth individuals and business owners, the other thing that you'll find is that you'll find that the business is often stickier as well because of the opportunities and the way that we position what we do. Now, like I said, what we do, there's a lot of different concepts and strategies that can be implemented when you work in the advanced markets, or just leverage our team for some of these resources. But when you think about working with small business owners, right? And I'm going to kind of try to compartmentalize all these different concepts because, believe it or not, these are not the only things that our team does. These are actually kind of a higher level version, right? Because when we talk about qualified plans, for example, right? Qualified plans, everyone knows that qualified plans help people save for retirement. And that's absolutely what they're designed to do. But you know what else they do? And it is a very common problem. I always like to joke when we have an audience, I say, what is the most common problem amongst your business owner clients? And 10 out of 10 people stand up and will say, taxes. Everybody doesn't want to pay taxes. They're paying too much in taxes. It's a great problem to have. Well, there are solutions and strategies, such as things like implementing qualified plans, which are a way to reward everybody at a business. But it's a unique opportunity that a business owner has to help save on a pre-tax basis for retirement, which means every dollar contributed, assuming they abide by the guidelines, will be a tax deductible contribution for the business owners. So qualified plans is a unique opportunity that our team heads up, does really well and has been doing since ERISA came out in its late 70s, early 80s. Great way for business owners to reward and help retain and attract their key employees, while also getting that selfish business owner tax deduction that they so covet, right? So that's a key piece when we talk qualified plans. It's very similar to the overall retirement income planning that you guys do on a day-to-day basis. But again, when working with business owners, they have that unique opportunity to help save on a pre-tax basis that we as individuals don't have outside of our traditional IRAs, right? Or Roth IRAs that we're able to leverage. So qualified plans is a little unique opportunity that we do. But again, we go down the gamut, and if we keep going, just I guess top left of the screen, we'll just go, I guess that's technically clockwise, moving to our right. When you think about key person protection and business succession planning, what are we talking about? Well, what we're talking about is protecting the business from the loss of a key employee or the loss of a business owner, right? So if you think about working in that market, the common comment that we've always gotten, or the common strategy, so to speak, when we talk key person protection, right, is if I'm a small business owner and I'm just going to reference Tony as my right-hand man in these situations as my key employee, right? If Tony is my top revenue salesman, guy that brings in all the money, well, if that individual left my company, would I experience any financial distress or disruption? Probably. So it's imperative when working with small business owners to identify who those key employees are to protect the business in the event that they lose a key employee. But it's not all about just protecting the business in that conversation, right? Because if they're such a valuable employee, what are we doing to actually reward them and make sure that they stay with the company? Well, one of the ways that we do that outside of the qualified plan conversation, right, is through things that are known as non-qualified executive compensation plans. And those range from everything from split dollar to deferred compensation to probably what is the most commonly used strategy when we talk rewarding a key employee, which is an executive bonus. And all of these concepts and strategies at a high level, right, they sound intimidating or rather complex. But when you really work with us and you see what we're doing, we can really break it down to very fundamental strategies to help you understand kind of the building blocks of how it is that we work with these small business owners to make these plans be as advantageous to them as possible. Because again, if we go back to that concept of what are ways that we can potentially reduce the taxes that a business owner is paying while either rewarding themselves, really if they're a C corporation, this is where it's most advantageous to do it for the business owner themselves, or if it's for a key employee, the business type doesn't really matter. When you do something like an executive bonus, for example, that's going to be a tax deductible contribution for the business, and the employee reports that as income because we are essentially bonusing the premium to our valuable employee on a policy that they're going to own, right? So when we talk about these different non-qualified compensation benefits, and we'll go through a slide here in just a moment that kind of highlights some of these different strategies, just like we will on the qualified plan side in a moment. There's a lot of different flavors or a lot of different versions of these plans. So in working with our business owner clients, it's really imperative that we do some fact finding, right? To figure out what's really that hot issue. What's the burning desire of that business owner, and how can we in turn help solution for what that top priority is. So in addition to working with business owners, right, when we talk about qualified plans for the entire company, we talk about key person protection to prevent the business from financial distress if a top revenue, top idea guy, a top, just a top talent, if you will, from the company were to leave, how we can protect them. We also talked how we could reward that key employee, right, with non-qualified benefits to incentivize them to stay with the business, excuse me. But another thing that we do a lot of, and we have some unique tools that if time allows, I'll show you at the end of this, for things like our business succession planning, which is also known as buy-sell planning. Really nothing more than determining if a business owner were to leave the company, and transition from one owner to the next, how are we going to do so? And how can we do so in the most efficient manner from a funding vehicle? Things like installment sales, um, third-party loans, right? These are common buy-sell funding mechanisms. We'll touch on these again momentarily as well. But life insurance, right, at the end of the day, is a very valuable and efficient tool for a lot of buy-sell planning. Because when you think about buy-sell and business succession, think of it like the business will, right? Individuals, from an estate planning perspective, they have their own individual will. A buy-sell plan is nothing more than the business will, stating how do we get the assets to the right people at the right time and in the manner that we want to accomplish that. So those are really kind of the different concepts that we do from a business owner standpoint. But in addition to that, we talk charitable planning, things like premium finance, which I'm sure your team has some experience with, as well as just the general estate planning for these individuals. So regardless of where on the spectrum you think your client may fall, right, whether it's a small business owner, a high net worth individual looking for most efficient way for retirement income, or looking to protect their business, we as a team cover all of these concepts and more. And as you can see, can not only cover these concepts from a conversation standpoint, but should your team ever want some dedicated training on one of these topics, that honestly we could probably do an hour plus on any one topic if we really wanted to get into the weeds of it, right? That's what our team comes in and does, is the education and training. That's where we do a lot of our work. But in addition to that, should you have any, I'd like to say, funky questions from a taxation standpoint, working with people like estate attorneys or people that are drafting ILITs for your client, or trust documents, or estate planning documents, our team, and honestly, when you're looking at those for a review standpoint or tax research and consultation, right, that's often where we'll kind of tap those attorneys on the shoulder and see if they can assist. They won't be able to create a document for you, although we do have samples we can send your way. But we can certainly help identify potential issues that we may see if you have someone drafting a document, and or can just help provide some general advice or commentary on the circumstances. But important to recognize that really what we do is we are here for you when you have a business owner client and you're unsure what your next step or what the best next step truly is going to be. You give myself, we'll go back a slide here. Well, you give myself, James Bauman, Jim Mosley, Louise Peach, Matt Ryan, Pam Kathlina, Aning Eads, David Hayward a call, or soon to be Meg Muldoon as well. So you have a lot of us at your disposal, but we got some time here. So let's just high level go into some of these concepts a little bit more in depth so I could really explain where it is that we really shine, right? And where it is that these opportunities lie. So we had talked about things like qualified plans at a high level earlier. And I apologize, Tony, I don't remember exactly where your group is located out of, but I know you guys are California?
We got California and Texas.
Perfect. So I'm going to lean on the California comment for this at the moment, but Texas, if it's not there, it's in it. I like to jokingly say, like the movies, if it's not there yet, it's a state coming to you soon. So in California, one thing that you guys have currently going on is you have something called a state mandated retirement plan, also known as Cal Savers. Cal Savers has been implemented by the state of California because the government has recognized that there's a retirement crisis in the US. People do not have the funds that they need saved to make sure that they have retirement income that's going to last them. So California and Illinois and about 14 or 15 other states already have implemented their own versions of these state mandated retirement plans that are nothing more than payroll deducted IRAs that basically say, if you are a small business owner, if you are not already offering a qualified plan, many of which are listed here on the screen, we are going to mandate that you set up one of these payroll deduct IRAs and automatically enroll all of your employees in it. Well, it's a really good conversation for you as an agent and an advisor to have. You can knock on the door of any small business owner in the state of California. and have the conversation to simply say, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, we know that you're mandated to have some sort of a retirement plan in place. And if you don't come up with your own, Cal Savers is your default option. Rather than default into what the government is providing you from a retirement standpoint, because let's be real, how solid is the government's financial track record at things of this nature? Not that great. Rather than default into what the government offers you, what if we could have a customized plan that is tailor-made to fit your needs and the needs of your small business? Would that be something of interest to you? That's really the conversation that you can have with any small business owner in your state to get your foot in the door, to talk about these various types of qualified plans, all of which our team can help design and showcase you a preliminary proposal on that your client can ultimately implement that will ideally be more beneficial and more tax efficient and more favorable to your business owner client. So the qualified plan role is a little bit of a niche and can be intimidating, which is why I always encourage you to work with us. And we have fact finders that will show you at the end of this that can help direct you as to what information is needed to uncover to help you have the full conversation. Because you know what? Even if the qualified plan sale is not ultimately where you hang your hat, it might be a way to get your foot in the door to have a conversation and then ultimately lead to a different sale or a different opportunity that you can help uncover and ultimately solution. So qualified plans is one area that I think is a really good opportunity and a good way, again, to differentiate yourselves from the other advisors out there, as well as just a really good way to get your foot in the door and have a conversation with not only the business owner, but Lisa alluded to it earlier, and we'll give a couple minutes to get the end to certainly talk about it, but also to work with CPAs, because you will be working with CPAs and other centers of influence when working with small business owner clients. But be careful when not be careful. Do not look at a CPA as an adversary in these relationships. Look at them as someone that you can potentially partner with and can help you solution for your small business owner clients. And if you do a good job with the first small business owner that you work with when you have a CPA relationship, guess what? Odds are there are more clients that CPA has that you can work with them to help solution that have the same type of problems. So outside of the qualified plan world, the other opportunities that are not as, that allow for more exclusivity, simply meaning we can pick and choose who participates in non-qualified executive benefit plans. As you can see on the screen, here are 4 of the most common executive benefit solutions that our team works with and we implement with small business owners. I mentioned the first one to you earlier, which for today's conversation, I'll think is the only one I'll really get into too much. But a very common, simple opportunity that you can use with any small business owner is the executive bonus solution. How do we reward and retain and make sure that our key employee feels valuable? Well, rather than giving them a $10,000 bonus, which any small business owner can do, and honestly is something that's probably going to go in their pocket and get spent very quickly, we could look at something that's like an executive bonus, which is simply that same $10,000 out-of-pocket tax deductible expense to the business owner. But rather than hand them the cash, what if we put it into a life policy that they were the owner of, they were the insured on, and they named their beneficiary? That would enable them to have life insurance protection for their family. They would have tax deferred, potentially tax-free income on the back end of the life insurance policy. And they would have the living benefits in case something were to happen to them in between. So by helping them essentially fund a tax deductible premium for the business and a taxable income for the employee, the executive bonus strategy is a fantastic way to, again, have a conversation with the small business owner about rewarding those employees that they could not live without and that are significant to their business. Now, depending on whether they want tax deductions today, tax deductions in the future, cost recovery, There are different plans, as you can see, that may or may not be more appropriate. But again, by just simply working with our team and having a conversation about what are the pressing goals of the business owner, we can help you solution that problem and help you put your best foot forward with the business owner client. Now, we talked earlier, right, also about the benefits of what we like to call buy-sell planning or business succession planning. And we like to make a little bit of a joke when I say this, but there are two certainties in life, right? It's kind of an old saying. It's a little bit morbid, but it gets the point across well for our business owners. Two certainties in life: death and taxes. Well, if you're a small business owner, there is a third certainty. And that third certainty is that somewhere in that business's life, there is going to be a transfer of ownership, AKA a business succession event that is going to occur. What that means is the business is going to change hands at some point in the future. A lot of business owners like to say they're going to retire off the sale of their business. Well, if you don't know when you're going to sell your business, you don't know who you're going to sell your business to, and you don't know what it's going to sell for from a price perspective, what do you have, right? Or what happens if one of you becomes sick, becomes disabled, gets hit by a car and is not around tomorrow? Will that business be able to continue on and function with the loss of a business owner and the uncertainty of who's going to step into their shoes? That's the conversation about buy-sell planning, which again, honestly, is a conversation you could have with any small business owner. Asking them is, what is their succession plan? Who's going to take over for them when they retire? And ultimately, how is it going to be funded? Because the funding mechanism of a buy-sell plan is critical to making sure that the buy-sell is actually executed at the time of one of these triggering events, right? Where am I going to come up with the money? If me and, I'll keep picking on Tony a little bit, if me and Tony were 50-50 business owners and it's $1 million business and Brian disappears tomorrow, who's stepping into my shoes? Is it my spouse? Does Tony and my spouse get along? Is that a relationship that can help continue to run that business, right? So buy-sell planning can be a critical component to any small business. Another way to have a great conversation to get your foot in the door. And depending on what it is that they ultimately find or ultimately have already done and planned for, you may be able to come in and be that was it knight in shining armor, right? To help save the business from a potential future headache that they have not already planned for, that can be done so very efficiently through the use of things like permanent life insurance and what they would call an installment sale. Now, when we talk about, right, how do we work with these business owners and planning with business owners, one question we often get, right, first and foremost, is where do I find business owners if I don't already have them as clients? So one spot that you can find these small business owners, right? First off, maybe referrals. Maybe you already have these clients and business owners know other business owners. But nowadays, I always joke, social media is where most of business seems like it's actually done. Whether you're, again, a little bit tongue in cheek, the TikTok world, the Instagram world, the Facebook world, LinkedIn, right? These are resources and opportunities for you to do some due diligence and potentially find some small business owners. But, you know, your local chamber of commerce, local chamber of converse, that's a throwback. Your local chamber of commerce, great opportunity, volunteer organizations, as well as just, again, business lists from other resources that small business owners leverage. But for you all, as I mentioned earlier, it's really going to be imperative that you understand how to have these conversations with business owners. And we've developed several fact finders, one of which we have on the screen here, that can help you initiate that conversation so you know what questions to ask, because we know that any new arena that you enter might feel daunting on the first go around. But as you have these conversations with more small business owners, as you understand what solutions we can offer to them, will help you build up the confidence to have the conversation with the small business owners so that you can get in there, get the information you need. And if you don't know the solution, reach out to myself or the rest of the advanced markets team so that we can help you put that best foot forward. So one of the last things that I just want to kind of show you is the way that I conceptualize the way that we work with small business owners. And there's really 4 categories, right, of who it is that we're rewarding and or protecting. So when you think about the business itself, right, how do we protect the business? Well, we protect our business with key person insurance so that if our key employee leaves or, again, we'll go morbid, dies or has anything occur to them that takes them away from the business, that financial disruption is mitigated and we're able to move forward and attract and recruit either a replacement or train someone from within to take over that position. For all employees, if we want to reward our employees as a whole, how do we do that? Well, we look at a qualified plan. That's a tax deferred, a tax advantaged way that not only our business owner can have some tax savings and some tax deductions, but it's a way for everybody in the plan and probably everyone at the company to participate in either an employee and or employer sponsored plan that will allow them to essentially gain the retirement savings and the retirement assets that they need to live the lifestyle that they dream of in retirement. How do we reward and make our key employees feel like they're as valuable and as important as they are to the company so that we don't have to worry about them leaving? Well, we are able to selectively choose and in a positive way, discriminate against those that we don't want to reward and participate by using non-qualified executive benefits. That was the executive bonus, the split dollar conversation, the deferred compensation, right? Ways that we can pick and choose who we want to reward and provide some sort of golden handcuffs to make sure they stay with our business. And then last but not least, when we're talking about our owner as an individual, right? Because remember, these business owners have 2 families to take care of, their business and their actual immediate family. So buy-sell planning, right, acts as the will, as I mentioned, for the business to make sure that the business is transferred to the right person or the right set of individuals at the right time and at the right price so that the family is taken care of and made whole. Well, in addition to the will for the business, we also will need to do some estate planning, right? If these are very high net worth individuals, they may have issues with estate tax problems in the long run. And even if they're not extremely high net worth individuals, estate planning, regardless of net worth, is a conversation that you should have and can have with any individual to make sure that their desire and the legacy that they want to leave behind is done so in the fashion that they want. And so we certainly went over a whole myriad of solutions and opportunities and concepts that our team has really good tools on the website that we can show you on a different, any WebEx if you guys would like. Really good marketing material and marketing collateral, as well as short videos that discuss all of these concepts in about ballpark it 2-minute clips to really get you the high level information that you need to better understand this information. But as Lisa alluded to earlier, there are also training opportunities for you all that you can take advantage of. One of which we talked about a little bit earlier, which is that CPA symposium opportunity. And Lisa, I don't know if you want me to just kind of run with this or if you want to hop in and talk about the symposium and Amped Up.
Go ahead, and then I'll just add to it. That's fine.
Awesome. So the CPA symposium, as Lisa kind of talked about a little bit earlier, is a really good opportunity for you as agents to take a CPA relationship to Vegas. Think of it as a romantic getaway in the Catskills, right? Now, it's you and a CPA go out to Las Vegas for a 3-day event or a 2.5-day event where you will be a captive audience, where you won't just hear from folks at National Life Group, talking about life insurance. Again, we don't talk product at this symposium. We talk solutions for CPAs and solutions for their business owner clients. And by doing this, and by having agents and CPAs really run the show for the most part, including doing a lot of the panel discussions and the conversations about success stories and different ways that they can work together. When you do it in this captive audience, right, for 2.5 days, you're able to really develop that relationship and showcase all of the different solutions that, yes, our life insurance products ultimately can work in, but really how beneficial the concept and strategy can be for those business owner clients, and how adding financial services to the CPA world, where they are, what do CPAs do really well? They help protect assets and help them grow. And what do we as financial advisors and agents do? Well, we have the strategies and products and solutions to help those assets stay protected and help them grow that much further. And that's really what the conversation is at the CPA Symposium, and what it's all about is how can we build together, CPAs and financial advisors, a way for you to work together and help those clients to hopefully develop a relationship that will have a lot of back and forth with referrals and hopefully a more lucrative opportunity for both parties.
And I'll jump in and say, I've attended many of these. I've had agents attend many of these with their CPAs. Sometimes, CPAs are the golden goose, right? And sometimes working with those, it's harder to break into that circle. And sometimes you might want to start out with earned agents, right? Or enrolled agents. Enrolled agents are, you think about a CPA have, let's say, a max of like 200 clients. An enrolled agent has like 500 clients, right? They're doing all the tax returns. Well, they have access to that same information. They might, not be as deep in with some of these relationships, but they certainly can introduce them. And so that might be another avenue you go down, is enrolled agents and getting your feet wet with working with those folks. You go into any major office building, you'll literally find a lot of enrolled agents, right? And so they're everywhere. But that might be getting your feet wet until you kind of perfect, your strategy and working with a CPA. And you can certainly take an enrolled agent, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, to the CPA Symposium, right? So just, think outside the box. And if this is a market that you want to participate in, and, you have the clientele and you have a value offer, absolutely be able to work with a professional. And this CPA Symposium will make you look real good. I promise you. You spend a few days with them, day in and day out, you wine and dine, you take them to dinner. I promise you, by the end of that session, with all of that National Life is bringing to the table and all of the different speakers as part of the industry, they're going to be blown over. And it's just a matter of how you work with them, not if or when you work with them. So keep that in mind. And
just to piggyback, I always like to tell people, we're like, how do I get a CPA to want to come out to Vegas with me for 2.5 days and hear all this information? And if that on its own is not enticing enough, right? If that doesn't do it enough, I always like to give the carrot of CPAs, depending on your state. I think they need between 20 and 40 hours of CPE credits on an annual basis. This symposium in a 2.5 day setting will give you a ballpark of 16 of those CPE credits. So not only is it a great way to develop the relationship, great way to learn more, it's a great way for these CPAs in a much more, in my opinion, probably lively and enticing environment to get some CPE credits, as opposed to going to a seminar and sitting in the back and shutting their eyes for an hour just for the credit, right? So this is to Lisa's comment, a fantastic opportunity that is a great way to develop that partnership.
Yeah. And CPAs, they don't know what they don't know. And, they're not in financial services. That is not their lane. And they normally stick in their lane. So they're going to hear things that are probably going to be upsetting to them when they go. That, oh my gosh, my firm is kind of behind the 8 ball. Like, we're not doing what we should be doing to advance into this world. and it's all about how to make them more valuable to their clients. So trust me when I say it's a good thing. If Vegas isn't enough, CE credits should be. I swear to God, you can at least get one of them to come with you to Vegas. And the price is right. The price is right.
No, to kind of second on that one, last year we were out there. We brought a partner CPA. We sponsored him. We paid for his stay. We did that because when you establish a relationship with a CPA as an RFC registered financial consultant, once you start to work these type of cases, the premium is different. It's a different type of premium.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there was something that we could check in this call, but a case study, an average target premium, the one that we sent earlier this year, I believe it was, we were moving about $180,000, $200,000 from the corporate's cash flow. And the way it was being reallocated into life insurance and annuities ended up being about $40,000 to $60,000 target premium. So it's a different type of clientele, but when you understand the this is the whole point of this call today, is shine some light on what you can do with the products that you have access to. It's understanding that it's not just an IUL, it's not just an annuity, it's how it's sheltered, how it's put together so the companies can take advantage of tax benefits. Yeah. And these strategies sometimes are not talked enough in our industry, because you might be in a situation that you're working on an MLM model, multi-level marketing, and what they're teaching you is to recruit, but they're not teaching you how to really use these products. And that's what we do here at Leto. That's why the partnership with Lisa, with Brian, with National Life Group. Does anybody have questions? I brought everybody onto the floor so that you can ask some questions. Maybe you have a case that you might want to find out a little bit more, but Lisa, go ahead.
One thing, Brian, did you mention the amped up, or did we get into a little detail, or do you want me to talk about that?
Up.
Yeah.
I had one more slide.
Lisa, let me give you. Oh, go ahead. No.
Let's one more slide?
Let me give you the presenter rights one more time.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, we could certainly just talk about it, but I
think it's okay. So for those of you who we talked about the CPA symposium, and that's more for you bringing, a trusted professional to that meeting to learn together. But another way for any of you who, are in the life business and want to deepen your knowledge base of advanced sales and go topic by topic, we do have what's called Amped Up. Tony is joining us for that. So in our next session, but it's basically 9 sessions every week. And it's I believe it's on a Tuesday. It's an hour and a half of your time, but basically you would go through in depth on a specific topic per week in advanced sales. And it basically gives you other agents that are going to be on these calls. So kind of like a study group to kind of, bounce ideas off of, talk about a case or talk about a case study, bring your questions and so forth. A really good, study group for 9 weeks, intense training. There is some eligibility requirements. So, definitely if that sounds like a good thing for you, contact Tony. He will get in touch with me and we will give you the details. But we would welcome you to join and to find out more details about it. So my little commercial on that.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback on it, because I happen to run that program.
I mean, he is one of the presenters and instructors.
Just to piggyback on it, it is, as Lisa alluded to, everything she said was accurate. The one thing I always like to tell people is, do not think we are going to be speaking at you for an hour and a half. The program is specifically tailored so that we've kind of continually tweak it as we get feedback. And what we've found is that so far, the most successful strategies, yes, we give you a little bit of homework, so to speak, so you can familiarize with material. But what's important is we go over the material for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then we get out to Lisa's comment. We always have a breakout group where we have case studies that everybody gets to review. We have conversations on what we think are good solutions. And then at the end, we get back together and the National Life team will present to you one of the solutions that we feel we would have led with if this was one of our clients. So it is truly a very interactive. And for those that want to get in it, I tell them everyone the same thing. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. So as long as you're willing to commit for that period of time, I think you will get a lot of good information, a lot of good nuggets that you can take back. And by the way, have that conversation afterwards with business owners and CPAs now that you have the confidence to go out there and identify the opportunity. We don't expect you to be experts, but if you can identify the opportunity, get the information, give myself and the rest of our team a call, that's really how the program is designed to help you kind of, again, fundamentally build up that knowledge until you get to a point where you can fly solo and really feel comfortable.
Do you have the other slide? You're going to finish it, Brian, or you're not going to finish the last slide? Do you have it?
Oh, I thought I just
That was it.
You showed the amped up.
Oh,
It
that
was
was
on
the
that,
amped
yeah.
up was the last slide. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
When does amped up? It begins. I know I'm signing up for it, but so that
Yeah,
everybody
so-
knows when it starts.
Yeah, great question. So as we advertise it, I should probably give that full disclosure. So full disclosure, our last class of the year, we do this 4 times a year. So if you don't get into, well, this one most likely, honestly, I think we're just about full. We might have room depending on, I'd have to look at some stats. I'm still vetting a couple of the applicants. But long story short, this next class that Tony you'll be in starts on the 13th. So we're T-minus basically 2 weeks from, I think from yesterday would be the exact date that we start the thing. So, and again, it's a 9-week class, but in early January, we will be starting the next version of this class. So as you kind of go through the year, anyone, if you happen to go to CPA Symposium in between now and then, which again is
We'll be there.
November 7th through the 10th at the Vidara out in Vegas, these training opportunities are great ways, again, to either familiarize yourself with material, but also help you set yourself apart and differentiate yourself from the rest of the world that's in the financial services so that you can really showcase the value that you can add to these relationships.
And that is a big key right there. What you're saying is differentiate yourself, honestly. And the market that we're experiencing in personal lines, most of in the call are also personal lines licensed. Some of you are securities licensed, and obviously you have your life license. Understand that this is a good timing for you to bridge into fully dive into the financial sector of your license, of your practice, of your agency. But it's not just diving into trying to sell a policy without really understanding is how to dive into it with an affluent market, understanding that if you start to work with business owners, at some point that will reopen up the market for your commercial division. If you already have a commercial book of business, if you already work with business owners, if you're already managing their workers' compensation, their general liability, you already have the book of business. You just have to understand this type of strategy so that you can present them to them. And at some point, they're going to tell you, oh, I got to talk to my CPA. I got to talk to them. Invite them to this CPA symposium, because at the end of the day, the ones that are going to be winning is going to be the business owner. And you're going to be settling up, and you're going to be starting a new relationship with a potential CPA from a business owner that you already have. It's just really understand these products, understand this industry and what you can do with life license. You don't even have to be securities licensed for most of these products. But if you are securities licensed, you should have an understanding already on what you can do with this. But the best part of it is if you don't have the time to work it, honestly, we've sent cases to Brian. All we send him is the census, is the information. He comes back with all the plan. Everything is done for us. You have even they can help you jump on the call if you need to present it to the CPA for their team. But if you already have a book of business which is based on commercial, honestly, you need to understand how you can leverage this relationship with National Life Group. And the very first step is you have to get appointed with National Life Group. For that, obviously, we have the relationship. Everybody knows when you join the little group, we appoint you directly at a 70% commission level. We don't start anybody below from that. Once you start to write cases with them, you can still earn, your target premium will get to the point that we can get you to 80% to 90%. So you still have the capacity, the capability to grow the revenue from your financial division when you join Little Financial Plus. This is how we're going to do it. This is what we do. We don't do meetings to get you pumped up so that you can be recruiting your friends and your families. That to me is not our model. It's not how we work, because we already have a book of business for commercial lines. You already have those relationships. You just need to understand how to manage your financial and your commercial division together. So if you do want to join the AMTAP program, the very first step is we need to get you appointed. Richard, I know we just sent you the contract. Mason, I know you're already appointed with National. It's just understand that you have these other programs that you might want to learn. If you do want to join the AMTAP program, let me know so that we can send you the, you do have to be approved for the program. We have to send you the form. You have to qualify, which, I mean, I hope some way, somehow, having the leverage of the group will give you a better chance to be able to be accepted to the program, which I think it would. So does anybody have any questions? We're already at that. hour mark. I do want to make sure that everybody can engage and ask some questions before we end up the webinar, soon to be just a regular Zoom call again. And if you guys want to ask a question, all you gotta do is unmute yourself. And if you don't, it's okay.
I'm here.
Richard.
This is Richard. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hey,
Yep.
We
Richard.
got you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I just want to thank you guys, Lisa and Brian, for, that presentation. It was very very valuable, very tailored introduction on how we can, approach business owners. I guess if there was, I know you gave us a few examples of how we can, approach different business owners. If we wanted to really like niche down and really focus in on helping business owners, would you guys recommend really focusing more on the CPA relationships really and strengthening those, rather than just, going after business owners individually? Or maybe, I don't know, I guess we should be doing both. I don't know. What would you guys recommend, on that, and to really focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question, Richard, because that's that common question of, if I'm not in this market, right, how do I get into the market?
Exactly.
So my first comment would be, talk to the people that you know. I always tell everyone the same thing. I don't know, first off, as well, if you go to what type of services, so to speak, outside of your work life you visit. But for myself, I always joke, my doctor is a person I talk to about certain things of this nature. My accountant, right? If everybody on this call doesn't do their own taxes, that is the first person I might start this conversation with, right? If you have that relationship, someone of that nature. To me, the world is easier, Richard, if you have the CPA relationship, because of the fact that they will have, in an ideal setting, more than one business owner, right, that they work with. So that way, whatever, kind of as mentioned earlier, a lot of the times, in a good way, business owners have similar problems. So if you can showcase how you benefited one of them, that CPA will then in turn say, oh man, not only did that help Tony, but Lisa has the same exact problems. Let's bring Lisa into this conversation. Now you can work with Lisa. So I would say CPAs and what I call the centers of influence, not as common. Estate planning attorneys might be of benefit as well. But really, to me, the accountants and the CPAs, and to Lisa's comment, enrolled agents, that's kind of a lot of, to me, the bread and butter of from a referral standpoint in the advanced markets. But I certainly would not discourage you from approaching individual business owners as well, because I don't want to say the more the merrier, but hey, the more ways you can get in front of them, right, the better. So
Especially if you have those relationships, like you've already sold them other things. So, start there, right?
Yeah.
And even if you don't know, it's like you have a wealth of information at your fingertips. We have the online portal. So if you're contracted with us, we've just revamped the online portal for advanced sales. Click on there. It just gives you some talking points. And again, you don't have to know everything, but enough to get in the door, right? And to say, well, what are your issues? What are the things that keep you up at night, kind of a thing. And it just will kind of once you start to kind of listen to them, like, you don't have to offer solutions, you're not going to have the solutions at that moment. But just start talking about it. I think familiarize yourself with things is easier. And then approach CPAs. It gets hard to approach CPAs if you haven't really worked in the business owner market. So
let me share my screen, because obviously all of us are in the group. When you go into your agency hub, suppose maybe you don't have the time to work the case because you're busy doing other things. You still have access to this division through a group. All you gotta do, you connect them to your agency hub. If you see towards the bottom of it, you're gonna go right here. Everybody has access to this form, submit an advanced financial planning census. When you come into your form right here into your agency hub, all you gotta do is complete it. Then this is gonna send us the form. So what's gonna happen here, if you don't wanna work the case, if you don't have the time, we get this information, which is essentially, we took the census from the form from National Life Group. So you gotta provide us with your business information. So everything is done electronically. Once you log into the system, provide us with the name of the company, provide us with the address, the name of the contact of the person. What type of entity are we dealing with? Is this a C Corp, an S Corp? Obviously, all of the information. What is this, an LLC tax? Years in business, with the year the business began, business tax bracket. The form, what are we looking for? Important business information, control group affiliate, service of the group. Then what are the goals of the objective for this form? Are we trying to maximize contributions? What do we need to do? So these are some conversations that you can ask the business owners if you're already working with them in the personalized division. What types of plans are they beginning to consider? Traditional, defined, 412, cash balance, profit. All the form is here. What type of contributions are we going to be dealing with? Business income, what is it? What existing plans? Do they have any plans already adopted by the company? All this information, typically we took it from your census, we just put it into an online platform so that all of our partner agents have access to. We have over 70 partner agents that you have access to this division. So whether you are the one writing the case or you just want to make sure that you already talked to one of your business owners and you want to try to get some cash flow, forget about life insurance, forget about annuity. Let's put our business hat on. What we do a little, once again, is provide you with different divisions, where every division represents a new source of cash flow. And if you're not the one working the case, if it's going to be us, the one writing the case, we can still work with you. We can still compensate you. But at that point, the case is going to be written under the letter license. So we'll be the agents of record. But if you are licensed, which all of us in this call are licensed, you can just do these things on your own. But that doesn't mean you don't have to lose the access to generate the cash flow from here. The census, if you're going to send this to somebody, obviously we got to get all the information for the employees. You just make sure that you do everything online, or you can just upload it. So everything is already accessible through your agency hub, which is Record Guardian. You just have to understand how to use these divisions. And I know David is trying to reconnect on the call right now, but if for some reason you don't have the access to do it, just reach out to us. You still have money on the table. You already have a book of business for commercial lines. Is understand how to present this. And if you're not the one that can present it, make the connection. Just say, you can still tell them you have the advanced financial division in your agency. You can tell them I work for you. You can tell them David works for you. But what you need to do is do a warm introduction. And at that point, we'll deal with everything. We'll deal with the CPA. We'll deal with the owner. We'll get all the information. We'll provide you with the plan. You'll know what's happening, and we'll be the ones hopefully in place in the case. So you can still have access to have to this division, whether you are licensed directly with National Life Group or not. But honestly, don't split the case. Get appointed with
don't leave the dollars on the table, because that's what you would be doing. Somebody else is coming in there and talking to these clients who you already know.
That exact comment, let me put it in the words that I've heard most from CPAs and folks that leave any of these trainings. I can't believe how much money I've left on the table. I wish I could have a direct quote and the number of times I've heard that exact comment, because that is a very common sentiment when people leave these symposiums or these meetings. Not as in, man, I'm in a negative. It's, oh my God, I can't believe how much I'm going to be receiving as a result now. So to Tony's comment, well, I never tell anyone what to do with their money, but yeah, you don't have to split it. Go ahead, take it all for yourselves, guys. So get signed up with us and reach out. That's what we're here to do. We're happy to help.
Brian, I'm not sure if you have that on your files for the letter. If you could share the proposal that we were working on to share the screen. If you don't have that, I know it's been a little while, but I think if somebody gets to see the projections and how this works in the back end before we end the call, I think that will be amazing. Do you happen to have it? It was Leather Machine.
Yeah, give me a sec. I think I have it. I can pull it up real quick, I think.
Let me give you host rights. That way you can kind of describe the presentation, describe the illustrations, how the plan actually looks on the back end once you decide to move forward with the first case.
Yeah, let me make sure I actually have it. Now that I say that, I'm just looking through my emails.
You should have it on your emails.
you put me on the spot. No, I'm joking.
It's okay. I know you can handle it.
CPA, is it this one? Oh, my internet is moving very slow. Oh, hold on. I think you know what? I apologize. It would take me a minute. I don't see it popping right up.
Here, let me bring it up.
Okay.
Let me reclaim host. Leather Machine LLC. Here it is. I'm just being mean to you. I had it the whole time. Let me do this real quick.
I see how it goes. That's all right.
I was just testing you. So look, we have the three. We have the double bonus, the double bonus. We have the Leather Machine LS, and then this is the main one, I believe, because we were not just implemented the non-qualified. We were also trying to implement a key employees. Let me see. Can everybody see the screen or no?
Yep.
So what I like is how you describe it. So let me see. Let me bring it up. That way you can kind of tell me this is an actual plan that we were working on earlier this year through the qualified plan strategy. I'll scroll down. You wanna just describe what we're seeing, Brian?
Sure, and full disclosure, the next one that you receive has a slightly different look and feel, but basically we just gave it all a makelift. That's a facelift, makeover. Thank you, whichever version I want to go with. Can't combine them, but I could have gone either way. And basically what Tony's showing is really just kind of the way we lay out the plan, which up front really talks about, hey, these are the overall benefits of a qualified plan in general, right? And these are the different types of qualified plans, defined contribution, defined benefit plans, which we don't need to get into the weeds on of now, but just think one is flexible discretionary, one is large fixed annual contributions. That's the defined benefit side. But again, you guys don't need to really know the weeds of it. What you need to do is get us the fact finder. We put this together often with life insurance and annuity products inside of it. Meaning even if you're not securities licensed, we can showcase plans that you can implement. And we go through a combination of things that includes this glossary of terms to make sure that you guys essentially understand what it is that you're going to be looking at. Because once we get past kind of the marketing component of it, you'll get into the actual plan. And this page right here, this is actually showing really what the TPA that administer the plan wants to see. But this is the actual levers, so to speak, that our team pulled behind the scenes to make this designed in the way that we wanted to it. And basically what this profit sharing plan is going to do is you can see there's a percentage of contribution, right? Where kind of Tony's right where he highlighted. We're going to show them $210,000 going into this plan with the idea of getting as much as possible to our business owner so that the plan A, yes, of course, is tax efficient, but tax efficient while providing the majority of the benefit to the employer, right? And in this case, you can see the words Flex Life on the screen. So we're showing it with the Flex Life product and one of our annuities. And what ends up happening is the first page you'll see is kind of a combination of a census, but it's showing the quote unquote fund, which for those that do not want the insurance, they can waive the insurance component of the plan and it can be funded entirely with this plan specifically with an annuity, or I don't know, Tony, if what way you guys end up going with it, but it also could include securities if you are securities licensed, but you're not obligated to do so. And what you see on the screen here is that of the $210,000, kind of under that plan total column at the bottom, of the $210,370 that's in the plan, $183,000 is going directly to our business owners. So that means for every dollar contributed into the plan, 87 cents is going to our business owners. And why is that important? Well, because if the business owner just walked away with the money, right, they're getting 100% of it. But they're going to get taxed today at a much higher tax bracket than hopefully what they'll see in the future in retirement. So by allocating as much as possible to our business owners, they still see how beneficial it is for them in the long run and for their long-term retirement savings. But it's also a great way to maintain a benefit program for the employees. But because we're able to do it in such an efficient manner, it's still very attractive due to the cost and tax savings, right, of the business owner. Because in this case, the tax savings, which is highlighted here, the $69,000 and change, scroll back up for a second. Right? $69,000 in tax savings. How much are we contributing to the employees? What's the difference between 210 and 183? What is that? $27,000? Yeah. So we're saving them $69,000 taxes and telling them they only have to give $27,000 to their employees. That sounds like something that would be attractive to me as a business owner. And that's kind of the concept is if we're able to show you more tax savings to offset any cost of the employees, I don't want to say it's a home run, but we're hitting doubles and triples at a minimum when you see that type of when you see those type of numbers in these plans. And oh, by the way, again, as we know, for some of these folks like Mr. Sting in this example, not only do we get savings, not only do we have long-term growth, we're providing him $350,000 of life insurance protection inside the plan with premiums going in on a tax-free nature because of the fact that it's a qualified plan contribution. So those tax deductions, the ability to show life insurance annuities inside of them, securities for those that are securities licensed, right? This is kind of that niche area. And when you show this to a CPA, they may say, wow, these are the type of plans that they don't know exist. And to Lisa's comment earlier, they don't know what they don't know. And this is a great way for you to bring it to them, to help them also look like the hero by presenting it together to the employer so that you have a buy-in from the top down.
Perfect. I think this is a great way to end the call. So this is what we've been talking about, and this is a partnership that you can form with CPAs. I strongly advise you to join the AMTAP program to get appointed with National Life Group, because even though if you might be with another company, they can still set up similar types of plans. But at the end of the day, you can see the type of support that we get from National Life Group. And this is a support that it hasn't been easy to get, to be honest. It took me a little bit to trying to convince Lisa that, hey, help us get direct appointments, you know. So it's certain things like this is the group we're leveraging the relationships that we have. And at the end of the day, these relationships come back to you. And when they know if it's an agent that is coming from within the little group, you know you're going to have access to everybody within a National Life Group. Does anybody have any questions before we end the call? And I know Julian, you're here on the call as our CFO. Julian is our CFO. He runs all of our company's financials. He's the one that's in charge of distributing everybody's commissions. There's no way I can move a penny from the company's bank accounts without him knowing. I know you're going to be joining us for the CPA symposium. We're going to be going, and this is something that we want to make sure that we understand is form these strategic relationships with somebody else, because at the end of the day, everybody's going to grow together. I do want to thank you, Lisa. I want to thank you, Brian, for giving us the time. I'll be seeing you on AMTAP, and for sure I'll be seeing you in Vegas as long as we don't go into lockdowns. Let's see what's going to happen. To be continued. Does anybody have questions before we end it up? Yeah, this has been a quiet group today.
Once, twice.
Julian
Oh.
came on mute. Julian.
I normally give the standing 8 count like I'm a referee in the boxing ring. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys. Yeah, Brian and Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Always a pleasure. Absolutely, everybody.
Thanks,
want to get
everyone.
appointed, send me an email. Send you guys the contracts for National Life Group. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.